Doing that. Let's meet our panel. When I say doing that, I mean communicating with us. Don Brash joins us. Don, great to have you in again.
Thank you.
And Amber Peebles. Amber, great to have you in.
Hi.
Okay, very quickly, both of you. Don, you've travelled a huge amount. Most disappointing, famous, iconic world place to you that you've seen?
Oh, gee, that's out of the blue. Most disappointing place. Oh, gosh.
Okay, Amber, it's hard for Don because he's seen so many disappointing things in his life. What do you think? Because for me, it was the Sphinx. I just went around the corner and I thought, seriously, that is the Sphinx? It's just so small?
I mean, not to be boring, but with the Mona Lisa, everything these days is, if you didn't get a photo with it, well, then it didn't happen.
It didn't happen,
and if you can't take a photo with yourself looking at the little Mona Lisa, then I know that's silly, but what's the point?
People sneak photos. I know, fair enough. And the funny thing about that is, because you're right, people do have that, if I can't get a photo, I can't be bothered. Yeah. I'll go up and see so-and-so, I can't get a photo. But no one ever looks at these photos back.
Yeah.
It's knowing you've got the photos. The thing. No one ever...
You put them on Instagram. No, you put them on Instagram and then people like them. And
no, you've lost me.
Yeah. I knew, that's why I didn't offer you that in the first. I didn't say it.
No, fair enough, Amber. Very sensible. So, Don, have you come up with an answer yet?
No, I'm thinking about tasers.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We'll talk about tasers. You lead the way, Don. I can't imagine that you would have an issue with arming our police force with tasers.
No, I don't. I mean, the New Zealand police do make mistakes. Arthur Allen Thomas, Peter Ellis, you name it. But compared with police forces in most parts of the world, I think our police are pretty darn good. Better off with guns or tasers, give them tasers any time.
And I'm of the view that will stave off our force having to be armed by giving them tasers.
This guy shot the other day in Auckland. I mean, he might still be alive if the police had tasers.
Yeah. Amber?
My view is...
Oh, you've been tasered, haven't you? No, you obviously have that look about you of someone who's about to say, no, they can't be trusted with tasers.
I just think once you arm the police with tasers, it starts... possibly an arms race similar to the one in the US, where the police get tasers, the crims get guns, the police then have to have bigger guns, and so on till now they have tanks.
But I don't think that tasers are part of a slippery, because this is the slippery slope argument, the wedge. I don't think tasers fit into that.
But I think because tasers quite often can kill, and the media...
No, that's not true,
Well,
Amber.
with different people, and what's going on.
If you're almost dead anyway.
Sure,
like, for instance, if they'd tasered Cilla Black, I'm sure just a few hours ago.
But the media cover it as a taser killing, and criminals aren't necessarily the smartest people around, and they see, that person just got killed by a taser, I better have a gun.
Okay. So you're not a fan?
I don't want to...
Okay. And I see that you're worrying about that thin end of the wedge thing. But, I mean, nothing changes behaviour like the three words taser, taser, taser. And the statistics, hugely back that up. Police officer shouts taser 3 times, and all of a sudden someone who was uncontrollable miraculously is controllable.
Unless they've armed themselves to prepare for that taser, taser, taser moment, and then they have a gun.
So that's your concern. Fair enough. All right. The story out this morning, this Mars One, which by all accounts they had about 200,000 people that put their names forward. The thing about Mars One is it is a one-way trip. And the story this morning of the woman who has now been selected and in a few years' time will head away. One of 100, yeah. Right. And that's it. She will never be back again. The husband's saying, this thing's bigger than our relationship. Go for it.
That guy's nuts. Or at least he's very keen to get rid of his wife. I mean, why on earth would you welcome the fact that your wife is going to go and never come back?
Wouldn't you be proud?
Well...
Stroke relieved?
Maybe relieved if you have a bad relationship.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is a one-way trip. It's a suicide mission, basically.
Well, it could be. No, it's not, because they're not going with the intention of dying, but certainly they're going with the knowledge they'll never come back.
Well, there's more than that. We know there's no atmosphere on Mars. We know there's no soil. There's no water. What on earth are they going to do to support themselves?
No, you see, you're just sounding like a kiwi fruit farmer now, Don. I'm sorry. That's the whole reason of sending them, because they've got a big job ahead of them. I mean, no one's saying it's going to be easy. What do you think, Amber? Would you go? Would you put your name forward?
Well, we were talking about it earlier. You just become, a farming machine. Like, you're just there as a woman to essentially get pregnant and have Mars babies, right? So
versus what?
And that mixed with having little Earthlings. That mixed with a bit of radiation, and I mean, it sounds fabulous.
What you
and
are,
the shopping there.
you're a guinea pig.
Okay. Yeah, that's
You're
right.
a guinea pig. And so they want to know, is it possible to do? I mean, you're a trailblazer. This is the perfect trailblazing scenario.
So you're interested in this.
I would put myself forward. I mean, what have I got left here on this planet? Seriously. You know, I'm 55 years old. What have I got? 10 years? How long is it going to take for me to get there? I didn't read that far. What's it going to take the trip? And this is the issue. The issue is that they don't know how badly damaged you're going to be by the time you get there, because space radiation is going to permeate your body, and you're probably going to get there and you're only going to have a few years to live anyway.
Yay.
So you spend your last few years breeding like a rabbit. All right, guys, we will be back with our panel with different topics in just a moment. Welcome back. This is Paul Henry on a Tuesday morning, the 4th of August. It is 28 minutes past 8. The panel this morning, Don Brash and Amber Peebles. Great to have you here too. Solid energy, Don. Understatement to say it's in a bit of strife. Is this mismanagement?
I think there may have been some of that, but let's face it, a couple of years back, everybody was optimistic about commodities, be it iron ore or coal or whatever.
But were they overly optimistic about coal? Because coal was definitely a product of the past, wasn't it?
Yeah, but people were still using it in great quantities, and the prices were high, and everything was going gangbusters. I mean, lots of companies in Australia too producing coal are in serious trouble. So it's not unique to solid energy.
Okay, so all of a sudden the price of the commodity plummets, and on top of that, the price of actually harvesting it quadruples.
Yeah.
What's the future? Yeah. What should the government do?
Well, I think the government quite rightly says we should not put any more money in. If the banks can work it out, great. If they can't, the company may face liquidation. I think that may be the appropriate response.
So the government have to be prepared to stand by and see it disintegrate?
I think that's better than kicking in more and more taxpayers' money.
Yeah, I mean, there's no indication that coal's going to become the product of the future.
Absolutely right.
No. All right, story this morning, Auckland family offering $10,000 for the return of their, and I quote, beautiful dog. Amber, you're a pet lover.
I'm so pleased I'm getting this question. Yes.
Would you, do you want to comment on solid energy?
No, I really don't. I really don't.
All right, so would you ever, I can never imagine, I've had a lot of pets in 55 years, I would never have offered a cent for any of their return.
What kind of pets have you had? Really, you don't strike me as a pet.
Yeah, but mostly they've been goldfish.
Okay.
To be honest.
Sure.
What's funny about that, Don?
They don't get kidnapped as much, I guess, these days.
You named them all, Paul? You named them?
Not all of them, but quite a few.
Oh,
in fact, I had two.
Were they goldfish 1, goldfish 2?
My two favourite goldfish were called Madeline and Albright, named after my very famous Secretary of State.
Absolutely.
My most favourite Secretary of State. Would you? So you would offer, if someone? What have you got at the moment, Amber?
There's a little Maltese toy poodle. She's about this big.
What's
you
it
can
worth,
imagine.
roughly on the open market? What would it be worth?
Gosh, it's such a hard
$50?
number. But
No, but I mean, if you were going to buy it, if you didn't love it,
a couple of grand.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would you offer if someone pinched it, or if it went missing?
Well, my thing is, if someone's going to bring a pet in for 10,000, then they'll probably take 5,000. You know, like once
so you wouldn't go to 10. It's not. What's its name?
Maybe her name's Coco Bear.
Coco what?
Coco Bear.
Even though she's a dog.
Yeah. Coco Bear Beware was after that famous boxer. Anyway.
Yeah, I've lost interest.
Yeah,
so
I could feel it.
Coco Bear, what's she worth? What would you offer?
I'd probably go 5 and then up to 10.
What do you reckon, Don? Is it
See
worth
if I
it?
could get a discount on
You're talking about dollars or $1,000?
$1,000. Yeah.
I thought you might be. Yeah.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Would you ever? Can you ever imagine?
Nothing remotely like that, no.
Really?
No.
What would you offer? What would you offer?
If it was a very, very precious pet, maybe $500.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maximum.
Putting a price on love. I love it. I love it. And you know the great thing? I happen to know that Don has Coco Bear. So. All right, it's 29 minutes away from 9. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you very much.